Putrefaction, both in its literal and metaphorical senses, is an essential concept in various spiritual, alchemical, and philosophical contexts. In alchemy and spirituality, putrefaction represents a crucial stage of transformation, decay, and renewal. Here's an in-depth exploration of putrefaction in these contexts. Section 1. Alchemical Perspective. Part 1. Alchemical Putrefaction. Point number 1. Transformation. Process. In alchemy, putrefaction is a vital stage in the magnum opus, or the great work. It involves the decomposition or decay of matter, which is necessary for its purification and subsequent transformation. Point number 2. Symbolism. Putrefaction symbolizes death, decay, and the breaking down of old forms to create the conditions necessary for rebirth and renewal. It is often represented by the color black, denoting the nigredo stage of alchemical transformation. Part 2. Stages of alchemical transformation. Stage 1. Nigredo, blackening. The stage of putrefaction is associated with nigredo, the first phase of the alchemical process. In this phase, the material and, metaphorically, the self, undergoes decomposition and purification. Stage 2. Albedo, whitening. Following putrefaction, the process moves to albedo, where the purified matter begins to be renewed and refined. Stage 3. Citrinitas, yellowing, and rubedo, reddening. These final stages represent the culmination of the transformation, leading to spiritual enlightenment and the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. Part 3. Goals of Putrefaction in Alchemy. Goal 1. Purification. The goal is to remove impurities and prepare the matter for higher states of being. Goal 2. Spiritual rebirth. Putrefaction sets the stage for spiritual rebirth, where the old self is broken down to allow for the emergence of a new, purified self. Section 2. Spiritual Perspective. Part 1. Spiritual Putrefaction. Point number 1. Inner Transformation. In spiritual contexts, putrefaction represents the process of facing and dissolving the ego, old beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve one's spiritual growth. Point number 2. Dark night of the soul. Similar to the concept of the dark night of the soul, putrefaction involves a period of intense inner turmoil, self-reflection, and purification. Part 2. Symbolism and Metaphors. Part 1. Death and Rebirth. The process symbolizes the death of the old self and the preparation for rebirth into a higher state of consciousness. Part 2. Decay as renewal. The decay of old patterns and structures is necessary for new growth and spiritual awakening. It represents the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Section 3. Practical Applications and Symbolism. Part 1. Psychological Putrefaction. Point number 1. Shadow work. Engaging in shadow work involves confronting and integrating repressed or hidden aspects of the self. This can be seen as a form of psychological putrefaction, where old wounds and traumas are brought to the surface for healing and transformation. Number 2. Therapeutic practices. Psychotherapy and other healing modalities often involve breaking down old thought patterns and behaviors, allowing for the development of a healthier and more integrated self. Part 2. Rituals and practices. Point number 1. Meditation and contemplation. Practices that encourage deep introspection and the dissolution of the ego can facilitate the process of spiritual putrefaction. Point number 2. Cleansing rituals. Rituals that symbolize purification and renewal, such as fasting, detoxification, or ceremonial baths, can be seen as external manifestations of the inner process of putrefaction. Section 4. Examples and Symbolism. Part 1. Christian Mysticism. Point number 1. Christ's Death and Resurrection. the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ can be seen as a metaphor for putrefaction and renewal. Christ's death symbolizes the dissolution of the old, and his resurrection represents spiritual rebirth and transformation. Point number 2. Mystical traditions. Christian mystics often speak of a spiritual death that precedes the experience of divine union. This involves the dissolution of the ego and a deep purification of the soul. Part 2. Eastern traditions. Point number 1. Buddhist teachings. In Buddhism, the concept of impermanence and the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, aligns with the idea of putrefaction. The recognition of the impermanent nature of the self and the dissolution of attachments lead to spiritual liberation. Point number 2. Hindu practices. In Hinduism, the idea of self-transcendence through practices like meditation and devotion, bhakti, involves a process of dissolving the ego and old karmic patterns. Conclusion: putrefaction in spirituality and alchemy represents a profound process of decomposition, purification, and transformation. It symbolizes the necessary breakdown of old forms, ego structures, and attachments to allow for spiritual rebirth and renewal. By understanding and embracing the concept of putrefaction, individuals can navigate the challenging yet essential phases of their spiritual journey, leading to greater self-awareness, integration, and enlightenment. Whether through alchemical symbolism, spiritual practices, or psychological healing, putrefaction serves as a powerful metaphor for the transformative power of decay and renewal in the path towards spiritual growth. Goodbye.